Yeah, so survival mode for me is doing whatever it takes, I think, to make it to the next moment, hopefully the next day, just in a place of, doing whatever you have to do. Yeah, I mean, I experienced a very acute violent trauma going through the Columbine shooting back in 1999. At the time, mass shootings here in the United States were unheard of. It wasn't something that was in our consciousness, that we as students were scared to go to school. I pulled out my homework, began working. Shortly into the period, I heard these loud bangs start going off, and at first really didn't think anything of it, was thinking maybe it was construction that they were doing on the school. A kid has been shot, a kid has been shot, everybody get under your tables, everybody get ready to die. From there, they proceeded to just shoot really across the library, and I could hear them just basically killing my fellow students. I was, in a sense and in my own way, kind of saying goodbye to my family and friends and pets, and even just dreams that I had. I had so many dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish and do, that there was a sense of I may not ever have the chance of being able to do those things. I truly, because of what I was witnessing, thought that it was going to be my last moments on earth. I made eye contact with one of the shooters and thought, this is it. This is the moment where, they're going to shoot me. And for whatever reason, they didn't. They didn't shoot me, taking off our socks and using them as tourniquets to help stop the bleeding, forming prayer circles with each other, and just trying to cope. I had um, kind of a nervous breakdown when I was 25, so 10 years after the shooting happened, where I just couldn't do it anymore. I physically, mentally could not white knuckle power through those things anymore.
I think Columbine is that one incident that, like, you say it, you don't even have to say the shooting. You just have to say Columbine and
Yeah,
everyone knows what you're talking about.
being told as a survivor of a violent trauma that you had absolutely nothing to do with and take no fault in whatsoever, that you now have a responsibility to do certain things in life, is not fair for victims. Tell a victim that because they survived a particular horrific experience, that they now have to do certain things as a result of it to make their life worth saving. That created a lot of, I would say, survivors' guilt in me, where I felt like, okay, well, because my life was spared for a reason, this was a horrible experience. And now I just have to choose to continue living and living as best that I can. I remember it was like there was no point. We weren't learning anything at that moment. It was just making it day by day. And so my dad had leukemia. He was in remission at the time of Columbine. He ended up passing away 2 years after Columbine happened because the cancer came back. They opened their home to me as we are all kind of stuck in this safe area that had been barricaded by police, where ambulances were coming in and taking out the wounded, and they were just keeping all the students there. So it took my dad hours to get to me, and everything was barricaded. He was pushing past police lines. He was borrowing cars for people that lived in the neighborhood, doing whatever he could to make it to me. I watched my dad, who was, as I mentioned, very stoic, strong, unemotional, not be able to tell his side of the story without crying every single time. Having someone who you can show exactly how you're in that moment and be received with open arms is, I think, a core component of safety, is that I am fully present, I'm fully myself, I'm fully seen in this moment. And which I think is key for me is that you're going to do what it takes to take care of me. And you just needed someone. And I think that's the definition of safety, is somebody who sees you and is like, I got you. I'm going to protect you. And I'm going to do what I need to do to make you okay. And, being in the religious circle that I was, people would say, oh, look at her. She's a miracle. Let's use her to be able to tell the story of how God saves people. I wore that for 10 years of me feeling like I was not good enough because I was maybe struggling in my head about things, and I was struggling in the aftermath of dealing with these very difficult, complex emotions that at many times did not make sense to me. So having kind of entered into a place of safe community where I wasn't necessarily with shooting victims, but I was with people who had suffered from other serious traumas. And I remember having one person in the sense of like just community and safety where it was okay. It was okay to feel it. What happened to you was not your fault. And it's not something that you have to do anything with, particularly because I was taught early on that I had such a sense of duty post this event. And that's what I wore for a very long time.
When
Yeah.
someone has been faced, like literally faced with losing
Yeah.
their lives, there
Mhm.
has to be more compassion and less
Yes.
agenda pushing.
Life. And that's something that I'm not choosing it to save the world. I'm not choosing it to, do whatever. I'm choosing it for myself. I want to live. I'm going to choose to live. I'm going to choose not for anyone else, but for myself. I'm going to choose to live. I'm going to choose to not numb out. I'm going to choose to be thankful. I'm going to choose joy.
One of the
Yes.
reasons why I started this podcast is because I
Mm,
really wanted to have the conversations about the
mm,
residual impact of trauma, right? Like,
yep.
yeah, okay, panic attacks and anxiety, those are normal, but we don't
Yeah.
talk about the survivor's guilt.
But choosing to live is something that I think we owe to ourselves and doing it for ourselves. And
You were not built to break, but you damn sure were not built to just survive. Disrupt the cycle, reclaim your life, and thrive on your own terms.